time.
It's time for the first one.
First game.
Hello. Welcome. Welcome back to the ZZZ. The Legend of Zelda is really rad, and all of those creatures are homeless.
So, yeah, they don't have a home in this game, no.
Home. So, what are we today? The Zoological
Zynga
Zone. I'm a host, Kampy. This is another host,
Super MC Gamer. Today we'll be breaking down The Legend of Zelda for NES using 9 categories, and as always, we have a couple little sneaky things. Look at our first episodes on A Link to the Past if you want more information.
We are talking about the first one.
The thing that started all.
It started all with a battery. Started it with a battery built in.
Is that the gimmick?
It has to be.
Is the gimmick the save system?
Because, yeah, it's one of the... Alright, let's look at it. Includes invaluable maps and strategic playing tips.
Those are pretty invaluable.
Very, very valuable. Besides pose voice, you can't yell at your controller like you can in the Japanese version. Okay, so... This isn't terrible.
I love that
the
hole with the crest thing.
Michael, pull it up on the screen, please. Blow it up. Thank you. Yeah, no, it's really cool. The shield's really weird because I was like, when you look at it, you're like, wow, this looks like. To me, it's just like Final Fantasy, ready to go, like adventure story. It's really cool. Spine, just the same thing. Nothing spectacular. Same.
We got 2 on the back.
We got 2. So over time, we've been. Whoa, look at that. Woo. All right. Experience the challenge of endless adventure.
I don't know about endless.
I don't know about that. What's this little guy doing here? Why is Link down there? And a little piece of paper.
Oh, it's the maps and strategies guide, leading you to the lost fragments of the Triforce. It's programmed to remember everything you find on your journey, so you'll never have to start your search empty-handed.
Save program. Cool. So, welcome to the Legend of Zelda.
Welcome.
Bold. The Legend of Zelda at the bottom. They had some cool bullet points. Maps of Hyrule. Extended playing power. Zelda is programmed to remember everything you find. Sick. So we got a bunch of Octoroks and a Zora.
Zola.
Zola, sorry. You got bombs on B, which is correct.
Yeah.
And then you got pose voice. You got what? Keys,
Gibdo,
a key, and Gibdo.
A keys and a key.
All right, so
I like it.
So I'm actually not going to rate this on as a Zelda one. I'm going to rate this as an NES one. This isn't bad because there are plenty of awful.
Let's go, Mega Man.
Yeah, let's go. Like it's very good. It makes, like, the only thing that I just don't like is the, like, kind of, like, bronze color, because it's not, like, super eye-appealing. But that comes with it being a paper, like, a cardboard. Like,
and that's where you get points down.
Yeah, it's just, like, it's not really eye-appealing, it looks like mustard. It looks like just brown mustard. It's not bad. It's overall good. It's okay.
I'm going to give it an 8. Yeah. I really like it. What are you giving it?
6.
Are you...
My 6s and 8s are all over the place.
Hey, that's a fishy. A little fishy.
Alright, story. What story?
Okay, there is a story. The game begins with a title scroll.
It's title scroll, Star Wars style.
Yeah, Ganon has taken Zelda, find the 8 pieces of the Triforce of Wisdom, and save Hyrule.
And that's it. That's all you know.
Unless you read the enclosed instruction booklet.
Yes, which is important to that game.
Because
actually, the most important thing you need to read is the instruction manual in that game.
Because in the story, there's more story inside the instruction booklet, which tells you about Impa, which tells you about your destiny and the fact that your name is Link, which is not in the...
You don't know anything.
Actually, I think Link is inside the title scroll.
Yeah, regardless, the story is very hidden. It's very hidden, because a lot of people, when they see title scroll, they're like, too many words, press start, get me out of here. And you're just dropped into the world. And you're like, what?
And that was the point, but we are here at the ZZZ rating the story of The Legend of Zelda.
It's cool that you have to open your instruction manual.
Enclosed instruction booklet. Yeah, 4.
Okay. It's pretty bad.
So like it gets points because they didn't know any better.
Yeah, I don't know anything.
Like, I'm not gonna tank it completely.
It's
okay.
Pretty crap. World.
You got some Lost Woods. You got a Death Mountain. You got
a tree that's looking like the Deku tree.
You got a lot of hidden bushes.
Yes.
And unseen bomb things.
Yeah.
This is the being able to hit and go clang 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 before you can do the bomb it.
Yeah. So world is pretty cool. I think it's really neat. It's so vast and open. And I know I'm gonna get this re-brought up to me on another game for saying it's so vast and open, but it's very cool for being like
all your time. Yeah.
I think it's just really neat for being like with an NES, like being one of the first games to do that, and not being just so large that you're just really confused. Like,
and because it includes a map.
Yeah, like the map really does help out.
It sucks that and so like we'll get into the nostalgia factor on this one, but like. As a kid, as a youngin, this would be a great game. Like in the 2018 world, it's a little bit harder.
Yeah, it's real because you just can't.
This is an 80s game.
This is a very much an 80s game. All logic is thrown out the window if you're playing it like this, like right now, 2018, because like a lot of things don't make sense on how screen scrolling works.
Yeah.
How enemies are positioned. It's very weird how everything is set. For the 80s, it's very awesome. It's a very cool experience. I see why, but it's big. And for an RPG of the first style of it, I think it's okay.
It's impressive.
It's impressive, especially like just what they were trying to achieve, and like with visuals and stuff like that, like with dungeons and trying to make them different. I think it's fine. It's nothing incredible. Like it goes up well against Final Fantasy.
Yeah,
and that's very important because it branched off into a new type of RPG. 5. 4. Not great. First time? Whoa, boy, the big one. The game sucks. It's very hard. It is the hardest game I've ever played, Zelda-wise. It is by far the hardest Zelda game.
Harder than Zelda 2 to you?
Yes. Because enemies, if they're moving so much, like their hitboxes don't make sense. And I understand it's back in the past, like hitboxes and stuff like that. But it's very infuriating.
Dark Nuts are not fun.
No, it's just
Wizards.
Yeah,
they can punish.
Yeah, so it's just like there's a lot of frustrating things. The movement's not really tight. Like it's just really, really hard.
It goes back really to the 80s style, like we were mentioning, because we were talking about how this is like an era where games were really designed in arcade. They were designed for you to put in quarters, or in the case of this, like what game designers were thinking of, we need to make a game extremely, like, or not extremely, more difficult and require like interaction with other humans to figure out where to go and what to do, because how do we sell this thing that is overall very small? Like, you know how fast we can beat Legend of Zelda now without even glitches.
Yeah.
Like, the difficulty had to be put in place for how it says the back, endless adventure. It wouldn't be that endless if it was really easy.
Yeah, no. So it is a very rough game. There's a lot of things that like hold me back on really enjoying the game. But what's gonna give it boosts up is that there are similar games out now that are based off of it that handle extraordinarily well with the movement and things like that, and how hitboxes work. I'm talking about Binding of Isaac. I think it's like one of my favorite games, and it's just based off of this style. But it is an incredibly rough game because you can skip the sword. You can skip the sword.
Yeah,
you can even know it.
Yeah, you can walk right off.
Right by the sword. So it sucks. It's a very
and if you log out for a while and you forgot the world, you got nothing. You better have your closed map.
Yeah, the game is extremely rough. It's just really hard.
Well, I want to see where you're putting it. I'm curious.
First time playthrough for anyone too.
I was feeling 2.
Like it's extremely hard. Like
I'll give it more points on nostalgia.
Yeah, nostalgia's fine because like it's like we'll go right into nostalgia. It's the landmark of the series. It's like the first thing. A lot of people have a lot of memories with this as being like their first NES game. I see that. Like I see why it's regarded as like Nintendo's mascot. One of their mascots is just like
Mario, Link,
yeah, it's like
Sam's
right there.
Pika.
Like there you go. Like so I see why, and and it brought on. It became very successful and brought on a bunch of games, like almost 20.
Yeah, this game was definitely not bad enough that it's still going.
Yeah, so like 80s me, like if I got an NES and played this game, boy would I be frustrated. Yeah. But I would have so much fun because there was nothing like it at the time in like a home console.
So talking to that, I got Zelda's Collector's Edition was the first time I played Zelda NES. When I got Zelda Collector's Edition as a kid on GameCube, and I'll tell you what I didn't do: play it. Zelda 1, Zelda 2, I was like, these parts of the Collector's Edition aren't as good as Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. I play those all the time. But as I've gone on in time and I've revisited, like I got through that first playthrough, and then I've been able to come back to Zelda 1. If you pointed me at Zelda 1 right now, trusting I had my good friend Google nearby, like I could get through it in 3 hours. No problem, easy mode. And I'd enjoy it.
Yeah, no, and that's the thing. It brings a lot of people joy, even people who aren't like mega fans. Everyone always talks about Zelda 1. It's just like, I love Zelda 1. It's like the first one.
That nostalgia factor of turning on the console and hearing boo, 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 and seeing that screen,
it just makes you feel really good when you turn on the game and play it. It's very good.
That's a 9. I don't know if it's legible. 10.
Yeah, 10. It's
okay.
Like working at GameStop, I worked at GameStop and a lot of other things. Like you just see like the cartridge itself being put on everything, and people buy.
God, people love the cartridge.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like it's just like it's everywhere. It's like it's such a huge nostalgia factor for a lot of people. And even though I didn't grow up on Nintendo consoles like that, I recognized, like I knew the name, The Legend of Zelda. I knew that. Like
I saw the gold cart for the first time at my mom's friend's house, and like I was like, whoa, what's the gold cartridge? And like, whoa, man, that was man, I didn't know it, but man, when I was 7, like 6. When I saw the gold cartridge, I was 6 years old. I didn't know. I was like, what's the gold cartridge? Like, oh, that's Zelda. I'm like, okay, can I play Mario? Man, if I would have been like put in the gold cart, man, maybe I would have got into it earlier, and my first time would be better. But I don't know.
It is definitely like the most nostalgic game for a lot of people coming out of the 80s and stuff like that for being its thing, starting everything.
Whoo! Let's go to fighting. Fighting's hard.
Fighting's very hard. It's hard because it doesn't make sense. That's the biggest thing. It's just nothing makes sense in that game.
Sometimes you hit dark nuts, sometimes you don't.
Like stuff hits you for no reason. Blocks don't matter sometimes. You can get into a block by accident. Your sword swing's just awkward.
If you talk about some boss battles, Goma's so hard because he's always like blinking. Like Dodongo is hard to get the bombs in him.
Just bombs in general are just hard to like just line up. It's just rough.
Good bosses are Manhandla and Dig Dogger with the whistle. I like those guys. They're cool. Aquamentus. Yeah, he's a good first dungeon boss.
Like first time fighting, you're like, what?
Get. So that's more meat. We'll get there when we get to meat because I got something to say about level 9. But fighting, not super great. The items are not super helpful. Boomerang helps. Bombs, extremely useful.
The crappy thing about bombs is they're random drops.
Yeah,
it's not like a set thing you can just go and get. It's like, all right, well, like they drop, like bombs can drop it.
10th enemy drops the bomb.
Yeah,
who?
10th enemy on anything, but you have to like have
not get hit, loot tables.
Yeah, it's just like it's just awful, and so like you get really bad drops a lot of the time. It stinks. And then even with fighting, like when something drops, boy, that thing can go away so fast if you're like in like a bunch of enemies and stuff like that.
Fighting's not great.
Oh wow.
A 2 and a 3 for fighting. Like.
I get it's a start, but it's a bad start.
We're not here judging. Oh, it had promise. No, we are professional zoovers.
Zoovers.
The 3 Z's before reviewers.
Items. Boy, they set a precedent on it. Like 3 items.
Bombs, arrows, boomerang.
Yeah.
And you got the bottles or bottle.
I think so.
Bottle.
They got rings and stuff. They got your tunics.
Yeah, it was only 1 bottle, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know.
It wasn't really a bottle because he's got medicine. Was
yeah. It's just there's nothing like bombs is the most important thing in the game besides your sword.
So you remember at the beginning of the game, because it not only does the titles thing.
Oh, it shows all the items.
It shows all items at the end, has Triforce, and you're like, whoo.
Nope.
I like the items.
I just don't think there's anything useful but the bombs and getting carried by bombs and sword, because sword can be completely skipped. Those are the two most useful items, and those are the only items I'm...
Magic Rod's pretty forgettable, too.
Yeah.
I almost forgot to talk about it.
Yeah.
Well, Boomerang's pretty sick.
Boomerang's okay. It's stuns. 3.
I'm going to give it a 6.
Oh, wow.
I respect it.
Yeah.
The meat.
The meat.
Levels 1 through 9.
Okay, so the dungeon system was really cool for being the first of its kind.
And I think levels 1 through 3 were really great introduction dungeons. 4, 6, 7 gets into some fishy territory at points, because that's where Dark Knights and Wizrobe start
just being everywhere.
Yeah. Level 9, though, it's extremely tough, and it's huge, in, I think, the best way.
No, yeah, no.
I feel like it's the culmination of all the adventures.
It makes you, like, the thing with that I like, that does well is it's at the end of the game, and it's like, hey, you have to be good at all this to get through this now.
Yeah.
And then especially to getting to Ganon. Like,
yeah.
If the game throws everything at you, which is very good, like, they do a lot of really hard things, and just being massive alone is just like, am I done yet? Like,
it's a crawl.
Yeah.
It's a dungeon crawl, because it's not ever like necessarily just like get all the way from point A through a bunch of points to Ganon. When you get to those points, like, okay, I got the magical key, I don't need to go back. Was the magical key in that one, or was that in 8? I don't know. But like I have to get the I think isn't the one upgrade there, like the bomb upgrade? I don't know. I'm mixing up all my dungeons, but there's like 3 different points that you need to get to before you go to Ganon in there, and like once you get those, you don't have to go back there, so you can like take a more optimized route. And figuring out that route, I think level 9's perfect. I think 1, 2, 3 are okay and pretty good. Like, I feel like they're really good introductions to Zelda, because I feel like Zelda or level 1 anybody can beat.
Yeah, I like that, like with the dungeon style, like how they did layouts and stuff like that, room to room, where like they kept that in other games, although like even up to like Link Between Worlds, just like the overhead, everything, like it just all makes sense and looks really eye appealing. Like every room you go into is just a different puzzle, which is really neat, and that's why I really like. I like doing puzzles, and I like trying to figure stuff out.
There is one problem. There's one big problem. You don't know where to bomb, and and it's required in places.
Yeah.
Like if it's a secret, like that's fine. Like if you find a bomb wall and it leads you to some extra rupees, heck yeah. If it's required to beat the game,
that's awful.
That gets fishy. That requires talking to your friends, and that's where I take away points.
You gotta call Nintendo.
Yeah.
You gotta pay $1.50.
I'm giving it a 7 because I really like level 9. And I think that the only low points are like in the bombs, and those middle dungeons kind of get to be a little slump as you kind of like have to overcome things. And if you haven't gotten heart, you better go get them. 5.
Gimmick.
The gimmick is both the game itself and the save system more.
Yeah, it's the save system. I'd say more the save system, which is important. It's probably the most important thing ever created in a game. Like for like cartridge-based games, it's so important.
Yeah, it set the way for like,
because like
RPGs.
I know a lot of people like when they got their like NES, like the way they got like Ghosts and Goblins and stuff like that. That game requires you to beat it twice to get to like beat it in one shot.
Yeah,
you got to go one shot. And, like no codes. Like this game requires you not to memorize codes or write things down. It's just I can stop and I can just start where I was tomorrow. Like what the heck? I think it's just it's not only just for like Zelda, but for gaming in general, this is like one of the most important things that Nintendo could have ever done. Yeah. Yeah, so I think
I'm gonna dock it a couple points just for it definitely they could have added in. I think you can only save optionally with player 2 controller. Yeah. Okay, that's where I was. I was like in the 8-9 territory until I was like. The player 2 shtick is kind of dumb.
No, yeah, no, it's very like I was going off a lot of like gimmick of just like it just being an RPG and stuff like it being very tough. But like the save point, it brings it really high because like other than that, it doesn't have a gimmick. There's no leveling system. There's really nothing. Like you got cool items.
Yeah.
Which you can consider a gimmick, but the save system for me is like what really saved like the whole category.
All right,
Michael.
Cut.
Awesome.
We're at 93.
93 points out of 180. Definitely where I thought it would be. Like, I didn't think it'd be anything higher. Nostalgia really carries this game pretty hard.
Yeah.
For me. Even though I didn't grow up playing it, it definitely...
I got one for it.
You got one?
So we get the name, what it's for?
Yeah.
It's for the Triforce. It is for like starting it all, and by inventing the Triforce, they were setting themselves on such a great little lore piece by having this little power nugget that they had. So it gets a Triforce mark for me.
Nice. Cool. I'm satisfied with this. This all makes sense. Like, it's a very good game for what it did for a whole series and a whole generation for Nintendo, which is incredible, and still continues to make really good games for it. Awesome, cool. Well, let's pick the next one. Let's see.
Yes, be sure to leave comments, by the way. Comments. Yeah. Tell us what you think. Okay, come on, big money. Can we get these Game Boy Color games out of the way?
Seasons, Ages out
yeah, can we get those out? I thought this was Wind Waker, but no, it's MM. Majora's Mask. Majoro. See you next time.
See you next time.